Y'all, welcome into a brand new edition of Snaps. I haven't done that in a while. Your new, can I still say new? Your favorite daily college football podcast. We've been doing it for a few months now. We absolutely love it. We hope you love it as well. I'm your host, T-Bob Hebert, joined by, as always, Mr. QB1 himself, the second best quarterback in UGA Bulldog history, Mr. Aaron Murray. Aaron, what's up, brother? What's going on, man?
Just trying to get centered on over here. That really threw me off, the being number 2 officially in Georgia history. But no, I'm kidding. Very proud.
Georgia,
you always, you work hard, so those that come next will do better. Don't worry, Maddox Murray one day will take the throne of the Georgia Bulldogs, QB1. He'll be number 5, though. He's like obsessed with the number 5, so he will not don the number 11, unfortunately. He will be number 5. Everything's 5. He can be having like 8 chicken nuggets, 5 nuggets, 5. I'm like, Mac, no, that's 8. That's 8.
It's a great round number, though.
5.
I mean, honestly, how satisfying.
It's not a round number, is it? Not a round number.
Well, no, but when it's 10, it is. It's 2 5s, right? 20's 4 5s.
It's not, by its own, it's not a round number. It is.
Okay. A fair technicality, but you're fooling yourself if you think that people don't love multiples of 5, right? It's so easy to wrap your head around.
Easy.
It's like what is 6 nuggets, 7 nuggets? I would take 5 nuggets over 7 nuggets. 7's very it's very random. 14 compared to 10. No. I mean, that's also not true.
Stetson, watch out. Nuggets. Maddox Murray. He heard the news that his father just got overtaken. He's coming for you. Watch out, Stetson.
Hey, Kirby Smart could still be coaching. Okay, like in all honesty,
he probably will be coaching.
Kirby Smart could still be. Yeah, exactly. Like Brian 60s. Kelly's like 61 right now, so Kirby could still be at UGA by that time when it comes around.
Speaking of Stetson,
all right, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'll let you do the intro to the show before I give my take, but you go. It's an interesting tweet that I just saw that I've kind of had this feeling, and now it's kind of floating around. So I don't know. Do your intro, and then I'll come in on the back end.
Okay. And I was just going to do some housekeeping.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you to FanDuel Sportsbook app, promo code SNAPS. Shout out to the volume, like and subscribe to the video, and wherever you listen to pods. I've been looking at the reviews are going up. We want to keep getting those reviews, y'all. It really helps. Please, wherever you listen to the pod, rate it, review the show if you enjoy it. I'm not saying like lie, but if you enjoy it, rate it, review it. That really helps. All right, Aaron, take it away.
No. I literally just saw the tweet before the show, and I don't forget who it's from. I don't want to look right now, but essentially it said there is rumors, quote unquote rumors, out there from the NFL community that if Stetson Bennett, this goes to what we're going to discuss with Pollack here in about 20 minutes, that if Stetson Bennett was 6'3", there would be major consideration and people saying that he would be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft this year.
Okay, dude. So again, it's weird. So we just talked to Pollack, like literally like 10 minutes ago. So you're not getting some like super pre-recorded thing. We're going to play it for you here in about 15. And I don't want to get into the conversation here because we get in there, but Mohamed Moskwa did text Aaron Murray and asked a very thought-provoking question, which is just essentially, Mohamed saying, I haven't watched Son of Bryce Young, but where are the real differences to explain that large gap in the NFL scouting community between Bryce Young and Stetson Bennett? Like, is it really like first overall to 5th round? Like, is that really justifiable? We'll get into it with Pollack. First, Bill Baggins saying, did y'all see the pick of Stetson working the counter at Raising Cane's? Yes, I did just see that. Ironic. So, and then he goes on to say, I wonder how the UGA/Chick-fil-A peeps feel about that. Look, I grew up in Atlanta. I know that there's a Waffle House and a Chick-fil-A every 100 yards. I love Chick-fil-A. I ate it every day of my life in high school, essentially. But the first Raising Cane's I ever had was actually in Athens, Georgia. So Cane's has been a staple of Athens for a long time. I know that it's a Chick-fil-A state, but it's not as out of place as you would actually think with Stetson. And I guess the tweet seems to imply, because it says second time as a cashier, the tweet actually seems to imply that he used to be a cashier back in the day, which would be absolutely
No, he did it last year
incredible.
after they won the Natty. No, They did it. He did
okay,
it last year after they won the Natty. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not
That's
as
why.
tight. Never mind, dude.
No.
Anikeme Udoku says, "Don't sleep on us this year." Who are we talking about? Who is us, Udoku? Let me know. I'd love to know who you're talking about. Before
Daniel
says, "Don't sleep on
Basham,
us."
Canes
Bama
is
Bulldogs.
doo-doo, but have you ever had
There
cane
is
sauce,
a
Daniel? Have you
there
ever
is
had
a
cane sauce?
portion. There's a portion of Louisianians that think that Cane's chicken is unseasoned. I don't agree. I think the chicken is, just solid fried chicken. I think cane sauce is great. I think cane sauce is great. Whatever. The overall package, it works because the beauty of its simplicity, in my opinion. But you got to understand, we have a lot of Popeye faithful here. Now, Popeye is not nearly as consistent of a product, but it does have a little more spice and whatnot. So it's whatever. There are multiple chicken empires here in Louisiana, and they all duel to the death. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about college football. And so we do every single day here on Snaps. And before we get to David Pollack, Aaron, I did not want to let this season go by without shitting on some people that deserve to be shit on. Okay. And so that's where I have created a top 5 college football shit list. And you know what's funny? The real thing that spurred this was people going after TCU and Sonny Dykes because it infuriated me. So I'm like, hold on. What are we doing, guys? We're going after the team that squeezed blood from the stones. Like, we're going after the team that punched up more than any other. Like, the coaching staff that literally did the best job in the country. When you think about the wins that they had, beating Michigan in the playoff with the team they had versus Michigan, like, that's who we're going after. And then you start looking things up, and you start looking at things like blue chip ratio, and there are some teams that jump off the page in terms of making me angry. And so that's what we're going to get into right here. Aaron Murray. Now,
I'm more disappointed in you, because you did not go along with the new rules of YouTube. You said shit before 10-minute mark. So
I was wondering about that, but then we literally titled it a shit list. So I didn't know what to do there.
So a couple things, boys.
What I couldn't throw to you, you said, Brum. And
no,
now
I know.
are.
I know. I'm double fisting computers. So if you'll notice, there's obviously an asterisk instead of shit, and also it's 5 minutes, but I told you 10 minutes because it's like when you tell someone you're going to be there at 4:15.
It's like my wife.
It's actually at 4:30.
Yeah.
Okay, 100%. So we're good. Okay, perfect. I'll call it a crap list.
Shit.
From here on out. My hateful bastard says, what the hell's going on here? Snaps. Okay, number 5 on my crap list. I don't have a lot of passion for number 5. I really only have a true passion for number 4. We were between Dabo Swinney and Billy Napier. I'm gonna go Dabo. And the only reason I'm going Dabo over Napier, because Napier had an objectively way worse year. And the effort that Florida, like, we'll give Napier honorable mention here, because the effort that Florida put in that bowl game was atrocious, awful. Now you got the Jaden Rashada drama going on. It's a complete joke over there in Gainesville right now. I still think year 1, Napier, I'm going to give him a little leeway. I think he's a very good coach. I saw him at UL. I think he'll get it. But for Dabo, the reason I'm going here is because not only did he underperform relative to the talent that he has, especially in a conference where nobody's even close to him. But more so than that, he was Georgia. He was there. He was ready to unseat the Crimson Emperor, but it was his own lack of not wanting to be forward thinking, not wanting to adapt at the times, this very Les Milesian stubbornness that I have seen and suffered at firsthand that is now running Clemson into the ground. So I am Dabo Swinney, number 5 on the list. Anything to add on Dabo?
No, you hit the nail on the head right there. The fact that he just continues to refuse to evolve. I mean, and give credit to Nick Saban. If anyone should not, want to adjust his way because of all the championships he's won, it should be Nick Saban. He should say, no, listen, this has worked. I've won most national championships. I'm doing this, and we're all going to fly. Nick Saban is the reason why he is the greatest of all time is because of his ability to adjust on both sides, the way he coaches, recruits, the portal, NIL, schemes on both sides of the football. That is why. And for some reason, Dabo refuses to evolve in a lot of those areas, from the offense that they run there to the people that he hires, keeping, essentially in-house when you could have gotten anyone else from the country to bring in new, fresh ideas. You decided to bring in guys from your own kitchen. And that's problem number one. And two, the biggest thing is just the whole NIL thing, the refusal to accept that this is here to stay and kids want to get freaking paid. So find a way to get the kids freaking paid straight up. So yeah man, 100% on the shit.
Especially when you're making all that money, Dabo, get the hell out of
here.
Number 4 on the shit list, Steve Sarkisian. Now, I already had him on this list before he had that absolutely embarrassing pregame moment where a poor little production assistant puts his hands on his chest and Steve Sarkisian acts like a giant child and yells him to get your effing hands off me, you mother effer. Like, hey, Steve, you're looking a little tense. Okay. Like that's the opposite of what Kirby Smart told his team before the national championship in that awesome speech where he's like, look, guys, we're prepared. We're ready. What do you have to be nervous about? Go out there and tackle. Steve Sarkisian, he was a nervous little boy because he knew they were about to get their ass kicked by Washington. And what happened? They got their ass kicked by Washington. Okay. Loser move right there. But the more important part why he ended up on this list, he took over a 7-3 Texas team that had won 4 bowl games in a row, including a Sugar Bowl. He went 5-7, no bowl in year number 1, went 8-5, losing the Alamo Bowl in year number 2, which Tom Herman won twice. And he did this all while having the 5th most talent in the country. He had the quarterback that he wanted, and he acted again like a complete insane person. Like the only thing Sark has to write home about is that he improved by 3 wins, but the only reason he improved by 3 wins is because he drove that team into the ground in year 1, going from 7-3 to 5-7. Sark is overrated. If he doesn't win the Big 12 next year, it's a complete failure. Steve Sarkisian, number 4 on the crap list.
I'm so you've had it against Sark from the very beginning, T-Bob. Like you are the most anti-Sark person I know. To reconnect.
And you just killed your own mic.
My internet screwing up?
No, Aaron just killed his own mic. Or both your internets are screwed up.
Okay, I'm back. Are y'all back? Are we all
sure
good?
Are.
We're back. Were you back? I'm back. We both went to the crap. YouTube, maybe we'll blame YouTube for that one. Anyways, you've had it against Sark from the very beginning, and I don't know.
Yes, you. Why has he done good? Why has he done good? Okay, tell me what he's done well. Tell me what he's done well. Then tell me what he's done. He had the 5th most talented team in the country, Aaron, and he had the quarterback. What happened?
No. He had the quarterback. Quarterback got the yips after he got hurt. Went to the crap. Okay, listen, there was improvement on the football field this year, so that's the first thing. Improvement on the football field. And second, you have one of the best recruiting classes that Texas has had in a long time. So I'm with you in the sense of like he will be on this list next year if they're not competing for a Big 12 championship. I'm not ready to put a coach on the crap list for making a somewhat better improvement from the year before.
We can call it a shit list. We can call it a shit list. Crap list.
He's not on it.
Okay, we can't call it shit. Okay, good.
Okay. He's not on it yet for me. He's on the outside teetering of getting in there if they don't have success next year. I'm not ready to burn the ships there at Texas. I'm not. I love his offense. I'm sorry. I love what he's done in offense. I do trust that he's going to get the thing right next year with some of the talent they have returning. But if he does it, then yes, bye-bye Sark. You're on the shit list and possibly out of the state of Texas.
Okay, so Dabo 5, Sark 4. Number 3, Mario Cristofraud. In an ACC where UNC made the ACC championship out of the Coastal, and despite the fact that on the talent chart, the blue chip ratio chart, you are above every other ACC team by far, save for Clemson, right? Despite all of that, you didn't finish 2nd in the Coastal. You didn't finish 3rd in the Coastal. You didn't finish 4th in the Coastal. You finished 5th in your half of the ACC, the worst conference in college football. And that doesn't even include the embarrassing home loss to Middle Tennessee. This is ridiculous. Pitt, Duke, and Georgia freaking Tech, who fired their coach in the middle of the season, finished ahead of you. This is beyond pathetic for Mario Cristobal. You took Tyler Van Dyke and ruined him. He was ACC Rookie of the Year. He was all ACC. He threw for 25 touchdowns, 6 picks, 2,900 yards, 290 yards a game in 21. Cristobal shows up. 200 yards a game, 10 touchdowns, 5 picks. Awful. Mario Cristobal, and again, you're going to be like, oh, but T-Bob, he has such a good class coming in. He had talent already. He's the most overrated coach in college football, number 3 on the shit list.
Yeah, I'm fine with this one. Like they 5-7 don't make a bowl. The biggest difference is the 2 big losses. Middle Tennessee, 45-31. I mean, come on, at home. I know it's not a great home atmosphere there in Miami, but still, like, you can't lose that game. Then obviously the way things played out at Texas A&M this year, losing that game 17-9. Duke, there's no question Duke has way less talent than you, along with Pittsburgh. It's and then
Georgia Tech.
The teams that you're supposed to, they beat Georgia Tech though. The teams that you're supposed to be on the same level with, I know. The teams that you're supposed to be on the same level with, Florida State, you lost 45-3. Clemson, you lost 40-10. So you're losing to teams that you have more talent than the teams you do have somewhat equal talent to. They're running you out of the building. It was one of the most embarrassing seasons Miami has ever had. So chalk it up to first year, but that's definitely deserves the top 3 on T-Bob's shit list.
Number 2 on this list, the man who has Boomer fans feeling vulnerable, that is Brent Venables. He's similar number 1 on this list, but I'm giving him a bit of leeway because it is year 1. The problem is Brent Venables plays in the Big 12. Okay. Like if you're an SEC coach, there are 6 SEC teams in that top 15 talent chart, right? There are 2 Big 12 teams, and it's Oklahoma and Texas. And if you look at Oklahoma's year-by-year record, to go 6-7 at Oklahoma is the equivalent of a college football war crime. I mean, Aaron, you look since 2000. I mean, whatever. I'll just go since 2016. 11-2, 12-2, 12-2, 12-2, 9-2, 11-2, 6-7 with the 6th most talent in the entire country. You have no head coaching resume to fall back on. You have no hope if you're an Oklahoma fan. It's an absurd failure. And even after losing Caleb Williams and everything, like account of your transporter, you still have the 6th most talent in the country. It's pathetic. You're supposed to be a defensive guy. Your defense was one of the worst in the country, one of the worst in the Big 12. Awful job by Brent Venables in year number 1. Major pressure for him to try to get that school back where it's been for over 2 decades. And the roster, I disagree with Bill, though. The roster was not as gutted as you think. You lose Caleb Williams, that sucks.
No.
It's still no excuse for losing to the rest of the Big 12 when they're not as good as you.
I mean, you got Dylan Gabriel, you got a top receiver, you got a top running back. That there was plenty of talent on that roster to have more success than they had this year. The one thing to me that I give them a little bit of a pass, or 2 things. 1, first year, obviously, boom. Second thing is this was the most competitive conference in America this year. You look at the losses they had this year. Kansas State, great football team was in the Sugar Bowl. TCU was in the national championship. Baylor wasn't bad. West Virginia kind of sucked. The one, to me, the one glaring is the Texas game. The fact that you lost 49-0 to your rival. That's the big one. But I mean, the rest of those losses aren't as bad as like we're kind of making out to be. Then you play a really competitive game versus Florida State. You play a really competitive team against Florida State, who had an incredible season, finished with double-digit victory. So I think the one saving grace is still this was a damn good Big 12 this year, and one of the teams that usually was projected to be average, ended up actually in the national championship. So that saves him a little bit. I would not have put him this high on the list. I think those guys below him, he would have been more that 5, maybe teetering on being 6 or 7 to me, not as high as 2.
No, your problem is you don't want to shit on anybody because that's absurd. He went 6-7. Like Texas and Oklahoma are way more talented than the rest of the Big 12. The Big 12 is exciting because everybody's like those 2 coaching staffs are failing awfully. Number 1, yeah, but you got to shit on 5. Number 1 on this list. I mean, this might as well be the Constitution. Whenever Jefferson wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident," number 1 is Jimbo Fisher. The preamble. There we go. It's how could it not be Jimbo Fisher? 5-7 with the 5th most talent in the country. I mean, he's right there with Oklahoma, Ohio State, Alabama, and this man goes 5-7 and he ties Vanderbilt for worst record in the SEC, and it's his 5th year there. It's his 5th year. They're like at least Venables gets to year 1. Sark gets year 2. It's his 5th year there. and he's making $100 million, and he just hired Bobby Petrino as his OC. Jimbo Fisher, easy money sniper, KD style, number one on T-Bob's CFB shit list.
He was on my shit list until he made the offseason move he did. I gained a lot of respect for Jimbo for the fact that he was man enough to say, I need help and I need to bring someone in, because he did not have to do that. He could have said, screw you guys, fire me. I'll take my $80 million buyout and I'll go play somewhere else.
Do I get credit if I have a gun to my head and somebody tells me you have to do this or I'm going to shoot you?
Is it a gun to his head? Is it a gun to his head? It's an $80 million. It's an $80 million gun, T-Bob. It's do this or we fire you and give you $80 million. I would probably say, okay, fire me. I'll take my $80 million and be like your boy Ed O and go live in Miami on the beach and have a damn good time. Like that's not really a moment of like, oh, what do I want to do here? No, he had to say like, okay, fine. Like I need to self-evaluate myself as a coach, figure out what I need to do because I love coaching. I enjoy being at A&M. I got a great farmhouse. I got to go hunting and fishing at all that good stuff. So yes,
I'm not giving him credit for hiring someone so that when the offense is shit, he doesn't get in trouble anymore.
Yeah, it's
like that. No, yeah, exactly. It's smart. He does not get credit for doing something that all of us would do. Oh no.
Would you have? I honestly would have said. I would have said, fire me. I would have, maybe because I just want to retire. I would have said, fire my ass, give me my buyout. Good luck. I'm out of here.
Speaking of things we'd all do, would we all poke the bear Nick Saban? I know someone who did.
Okay, Brum. See, now this pissed me off a little bit. Okay, I know we're a couple minutes over, but we had to get to the list. I'm fully aware where we're at on the clock. We're going to end up at 55. Relax, okay? Me and Aaron had a very satisfying sit down with David Pollack. Here it is. Wow, look at me. I mean, who would have thought? Here I am on my favorite thing I do every day, snaps, and I'm just chopping it up with a couple of Georgia Bulldog legends. I got Aaron Murray, who I have to deal with every day, and now I got one of the strongest people to ever play college football. I'll never forget going to Georgia on recruiting visits in high school and seeing this man's name all over the chart and being mind blown at the numbers. David Pollack. At David Pollack 47 on Twitter. Of course, see him on ESPN College Game Day all the time. The man who just looked the Crimson Emperor in the eye and told him your time in the sun is done. Let's go. David, what's up, man? Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, that got a little bit of attention. I saw a lot of that. Got a lot more response than I expected. But it was nice to meet you finally, Mr. T-Bob, sir. Nice, Greater Atlanta Christian, right down the road from Athens, Georgia. Should have been a Bulldog, huh?
It was. Look, man. If my grandfather, so all my family's originally from Louisiana, had my grandfather not brainwashed me LSU like from the time I was a little kid, yes, Georgia would have been the play. I took a lot of unofficial visits to Athens in high school to go enjoy the town. Best college town, without a doubt. Now, I want to ask you a little sausage making here, David. When you're sitting at the desk, y'all are getting pumped up for halftime. You know what you're about to do. I don't exactly know how it works because I've never done it, but I imagine the producer's like, okay, you have these many seconds. Just give us a quick answer here. Were you cognizant of what you were about to say to Nick Saban and kind of the reaction that it would garner?
No and no. First of all, usually the halftimes are very quick, so they'll tell you to be succinct. They don't want to say short. They don't want to say brief, but like we only got so much time. The game was already out of control. I mean, everybody knew that the TCU had no prayer. So it kind of turns into a debate, or it kind of turns into a different than normal. Like, what are we going to do? Halftime adjustments. We covered that real quick because there's nothing they can do. It's over. And then it was, talking about Stetson Bennett's legacy in Georgia's. And then to me, the natural, transition was, Georgia and where they're at in college football. So I never thought about it until it came up. And honestly, I looked at Nick as an analyst. I didn't look at Nick at all as Alabama. I never once thought about that. I never once thought about being disrespectful to him. That's hopefully not going to be who I am and in my nature. No clue that it would get that much attention. No clue. And then all of a sudden getting text and all the memes and all the slow motions. Holy cow, what in the heck just happened? So, no, I had absolutely zero clue that was going to happen.
Well, first off, it wasn't disrespectful. Like, even if they were intending to say that, like, there was no disrespect in that comment. You were speaking the truth, speaking your mind. But after that moment, when you said it, and it went to obviously the next person for them to make their comment, was there a moment in your mind like, wow, I just really said that? And Nick Saban, not the analyst, but the head coach of Alabama, is sitting by me, or it's just business as normal?
I never thought about it once. I just thought it was business as normal. And, we shook hands. And then as soon as he got finished, he was done for the night. So he took off and I think flew home. So no, there was no animosity. There was no stare down. I do see how Alabama fans are going to love this and they're going to use this for the next 300 days, whatever, to get their team excited and motivated. And that's the way it works. But I mean, if we're being honest, I don't know how you justify it any other way, but when you win back-to-back national championships, like, you're the king of college football and the college football, and you've owned college football the past 2 seasons. And so I think, it's a tough thing for people to say sometimes. I'll say this too. Clemson had that mantle for a little while. Clemson looked like they were the next team. So Georgia's got to do their part to sustain it. But right now, like, the standard in college football is Georgia.
So, look, that is unquestioned objective truth as it stands. Like, there can be no argument against that. Going forward, though, you still have an Alabama team that is supremely talented from the overall roster makeup. They got like a new record recruiting class coming in because, of course, they do. And after a year in which we just saw Kirby Smart affect Vladimir Putin levels of propaganda effectiveness, right? Like convincing his team that everybody was talking about 5-7, 7-5. Are you at all worried that Bama is going to use this moment as the kind of restore order moment? Like, like look at what they're saying about you. It's time. Like, are you worried about the empire striking back, essentially? Not even because of what you said, but just in terms of who will be college football king. Does Nick Saban have one of those big punches left in him?
100%, I think he does. Has the talent, has the recruiting class. They got to find their quarterback when you start looking at for them for the future. Obviously losing Will Anderson, they got to find. They're going to lose Branch. They're going to lose 3 first-round picks probably to the draft. So they're going to have to find some things to replace. Here's the thing: when it comes to Georgia, this is a totally different job for Kirby Smart next year. Kirby Smart had it a lot easier last year. You know why? Because Kirby Smart got to look at everybody in the room and go, you didn't contribute. You didn't contribute. You didn't contribute. There's 15 guys in the NFL. That didn't have jack shit to do with you. You didn't do anything. But now you got a bunch of guys that were on the field, were key contributors. I think you're going to lose 6 guys. Like, 6 guys. You're going to be right here in the mix. Your receiving core is going to be better. Quarterback, you're going to be just fine, by the way. Like, Carson Beck is an absolute stud superstar. The only thing you can say about Carson Beck that I need to see is in the big moments, like Stetson. Stetson was so great in the big moments. But, I mean, all these guys are back. You got to replace, Jalen Carter, Ringo, Christopher Smith, Beal on defense. Broderick Jones, Stetson Bennett, if Broderick Jones leaves, which I think he will, Broderick Jones, Stetson Bennett, and Darnell Washington. I mean, and granted, that's a lot of talent, but this rebuilding job is going to be different because all those guys had a big part in that national championship run. So now you got to take that, like Kirby called, I love it, disease, the disease of complacency and the disease of, what you've already, secured and what you've already done, not to creep in. So it'll be a tougher job next year.
I know you say it's going to be a tougher job, but you look at that schedule, and my goodness, is it going to be maybe one of the easiest schedules in all of college football next year? Yes, like you have to worry about complacency, but who are you playing? Like, at Tennessee is going to be the hardest game on that schedule. That's it. I mean, maybe Spencer Rattler at South Carolina.
In fairness to Georgia, Aaron, they had Oklahoma's schedule, but when they set the SEC, it changed it a little bit. Obviously, because you look at 2 years ago was Clemson, last year was Oregon. So, they've done a good job of challenging themselves at a conference, which I think is smart. But, that schedule next year, it's going to be hard. Hey, Keep your head down. Keep working. Don't look ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
they'll be just fine.
The propaganda skills are going to be put to the test just in terms of making that team care week in and week out. But okay, one thing Kirby Smart, and it's something that Brian Kelly has as a kind of a core pillar of his process philosophy. Whether or not he accomplished it, we'll see. One thing Kirby Smart has done, David, I know you're close to the program, so I want some insight here. How has he managed to get all of these superstar recruits and make them into blue collar guys, right? He has a group of guys that would be individual superstars and are, but would be even more so on any other team. And he has them fully bought in to the idea of sacrificing the self for the team. How has he accomplished that?
So when you go to a practice, before the Ohio State game, me and my high school football coaches, we went to offensive meetings, defensive meetings, special teams meetings, and then we went to a practice. And it was mind blowing to watch Kirby. Like every single meeting in the front, every single meeting, comments, special teams, comments, defense, off. Like he is so dialed in. And when your coach cares that much, you'll care that much. When your coach cares about special teams, you'll care about special teams. When your coach cares about the little things, you'll care about the little things. And I think he's just a no-nonsense guy. Dude, listen to that leaked press, the pregame speech.
Oh, it was so sick, dude. Oh, it got me so fired up.
That is my alarm to wake up every morning. The problem was I knew I was going to have to fix my sheetrock because I was going to run through the flipping wall every morning. So, I think that it's a trait of his that he's always a grinder. He's got an I wish everybody understood what kind of personality Kirby Smart has. Like he is a ball buster. He is so good at speaking college kids' language and busting on people. And everybody gets called out. Everybody is going to get called out, and everybody in the place is going to laugh when it's your turn, and you're going to sit there and eat it other times. So I think it has a lot to do with his personality. And here's the thing. He's still only 47. He's still somewhat of a young guy. How long can he keep that pulse, and how long can he keep that energy, man? That's a real thing. You've seen people burn out, and Urban Meyer have a lot of success, but I just think it's his attention to details, his focus, his want to be great, and his ability to show up every day and show them what it looks like.
All right, so I want to switch it up to the Stetson conversation, and David, you obviously are one of the greatest players in Georgia history, top 2, top 3, kind of in that discussion there with Herschel. Even T-Bob, an LSU guy, had a little bit of a chubby when I told him that you'd be joining the show today. So that's the respect you get across the country. Favorite play ever there, that South Carolina play. And now all of a sudden we've gone from the conversation of where's Stetson in the quarterback ranking. I think most of us agree he's surpassed us all and is number 1 now. But where do you view Stetson? Because there's many ways to look at it. Do you view the ranking as the most athletic, the guy that accomplished the most in the NFL, or is it the guy that accomplished the most during his time at the university? So I think that kind of skews people in different views. But when you look at that ranking of all-time greats, and I talked to Champ last night for a while too about this, and obviously he's right there with you as well. Where do you see Stetson?
I'm not good at this. This is not one of my strengths. Because I think there's so many factors like Tom Brady. People automatically say Tom Brady's the GOAT automatically because he won the most. Well, I would also be the same person that would argue that if Phillip Rivers or Drew Brees played for Bill Belichick and all those teams, I think it would be pretty comparable. I don't think there'd be much difference. So, Aaron, let me ask you a question. If you had that defense, if you had the system and Kirby.
Oh, yeah.
I feel very
confident. I didn't know.
You did not. I feel very confident your legacy would be very similar to Stetson Bennett's. So I think I think you got to give him mad respect because he's earned it. His ability to play big in big games is stupid. It is unbelievable to be, last year Orange Bowl MVP, Natty MVP. This year Peach Bowl MVP, Natty MVP, 6 touchdowns. It's unbelievable that he's been able to do it. But I don't know how to do the comparison of, to me, Herschel Walker, like greatest, most transcendent talent, put you on my back. Like I need very little else. No disrespect to anybody else that played with Herschel, but like I think it's so hard to measure the degrees of who's the greatest. And I think everybody's going to look at different things. But, man, the greatest story is undeniable. Like, this is the greatest story in college football history. And he did absolutely nothing to change anybody's minds about how – or he actually just validated it more and more because, last year, beginning of the season, I remember being on set and just – fighting for Stetson Bennett just because I thought he had something a little bit different about him. Now, did I think he would turn into what he turned into? No, I didn't know he would turn into that. But you talk about a guy that I don't know this. He's got the biggest onions and the most confidence of anybody I've ever met. Like, I had to get confirmation of this, and I did. Second quarter against TCU, I'm watching the play. I'm watching him come to the line. I forget, it was third down, plus territory going in. I watch him come to the line. I see he sees the blitz. I absolutely see he sees the blitz. He sees it. He walks up to the line, doesn't change the play. Mentor, 13 for TCU, comes flying off the edge. He spins out, runs for a first down. I had to get confirmation, but I knew deep down in my heart, he absolutely saw it and said, I'll make that guy miss. I talked to I talked to two of the coaches over there. 100% what happened. Like 100% what happened.
No,
so I unbelievable stones, like unbelievable trust and love in himself. So he's on the Mount Rushmore because of back-to-back natties and what he's done. Where you put him, I don't know. I think Herschel just from an individual talent, and you get that guy, you immediately win a natty. But Stetson, what he's done the last couple of years is just silly.
The greatest underdog story in college football history. Interesting, because I don't know that I have couched it that way yet. But yeah, it's pretty undeniable. I mean, boys, even at this year's SEC Media Days, I had a UJ beat reporter on, and they were talking about replacing Stetson this year. And he was trying to tell us, like, watch out now. I mean, there's some, you never know. There's some people coming. So whatever. It's unreal. How about this? So Aaron's a big watch the tape guy, and he offered up a very thought-provoking question today.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I brought.
Oh, really?
It was Muhammad Massaquoi. I don't know.
Oh, that's right. Muhammad Massaquoi. You're right.
Muhammad Massaquoi texted me the other day, David, and said this. I'll let T-Bob finish.
You finish. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just tell him.
Muhammad texted me the other day and said, I haven't watched a lot of Bryce, but is there that much of a gap between Bryce Young and Stetson Bennett?
Well, it's interesting because those two comparisons, I like it because they're both slight. They're both not very big. So Bryce Young, his comparison for me is Steph Curry. Like he's got so much natural shake, playmaking, ability to make plays outside the structure that is just the stupidest things you've ever seen. So I think Stetson plays really good within the structure. I think he gets the ball out fast. I think you've seen him. He wants to be aggressive. I love the people that are like, oh, he's just a game manager last year. I'm like, no, he's actually a bomb taker. Like he wants to throw deep first, check down second. It always felt like that to me when I watched him. But I think Bryce Young probably, and Stetson has really good accuracy. Bryce Young probably has a little bit more talent, a little better arm, a little bit better creativity. I think Stetson's a lot faster. I think top end speed and get out of there and go. I think Stetson's got a little bit more of that probably, but I think Bryce Young's going to be a guaranteed top 10 pick. And I think Stetson's probably going to get drafted like in the 5th round. Something like that.
But is there that much of a difference, though? Like, is there a 4-round difference in your mind between those two quarterbacks?
Oh man,
it's tough.
It's tough.
No,
I don't see that big of a gap.
It is tough. Make this a lot easier if you just go, hey, Stetson, go play on Alabama and see how you do. Like that would be because I feel like Bryce Young dragged Alabama this year, like just dragged them game after game. Like it was him or bust. Like go score me 50, go score me 40, go make every single thing happen. Where Stetson, he played much more on schedule and he had more structure. I think the offense is a lot better. He has Brock, which by the way is a cheat code. I mean that completely changes the way defenses play you. And so Bryce definitely on a talent standpoint, playmaking standpoint, you would say has been better. But I understand what you're saying because Stetson, especially this late in this season, I mean, goodness gracious, he's been unstoppable.
Yeah, and he has the 4 MVPs in the 4 big games. But go ahead.
Let me add one more thing. The biggest difference I've seen between the two, actually, because I'm doing this on the fly, is I think Bryce Young has more consistency. Stetson Bennett, to me, he is blazing hot, smoking hot. And then he'll go through a lull where he went through in the middle of the season. He had a 4-game stretch where he had like 3 total touchdowns. He'll have a little bit of I'm fire, I'll get a little bit cold, a la Peach Bowl third quarter, and then be smoking hot in the fourth quarter. So a little bit more maybe up and down than Bryce has had.
Look, dude, Aaron, I feel like we pretty much I feel pretty validated. That was kind of the same answers that we arrived at when we were workshopping this. David, we've already kept you long, man. I know you're very busy. Man, what's the biggest hurdle to a Georgia three-peat next year?
I mean, I think it's what I talked about earlier. It's the guys that have already accomplished the things and been a big part of it, getting them to continue to buy in. What you got?
Give me a team then. Who is the biggest hurdle to a Georgia three-peat? Who's the biggest threat?
Well, I mean, you start with let's see, golly, man. The problem is if you go Bama, breaking in a quarterback, breaking in a lot of new pieces. If you go Ohio State, breaking in a lot of new pieces. Michigan's probably going to be breaking in a new coach, breaking in some new pieces. Yes, I saw you point to LSU, but not ready for LSU yet.
Yeah, that's the answer, David, right there, dude. Get ready.
Too much ride the roller coaster. That's a sweet lid, though. I will say that.
Oh, hey, David, thank you so much, man. This was awesome. You obviously do incredible work. ESPN College Game Day, you catch him everywhere. He's got a lot going on. David, thank you so much, man. And I hope you enjoyed getting another national championship for all you Bulldogs out there, dude.
It's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. Hey, T-Bob, we got to get you. We got to get you to come out to the golf tournament with Aaron too. So come out and play in our golf.
Oh,
tournament.
Heck yeah! Hey, David, I want to ask. Sorry, last one. You're too good. I can't let you leave this one. I had this struggle the other day because we are former players and we didn't win it, and that's one thing that it's always hard as a competitor to not win the championship. But fans, there's like 3 categories: players, fans, letterman. Fans are kind of in like we just won a natty. It's hard for me to jump into that group and say, and tell people, hey, we just won a natty. Like, no, you didn't. You didn't win a natty. It's like, how do you balance like fandom, letterman, feeling pride in winning a national championship, claiming a national championship when you really didn't win a national championship?
I know what you're saying, and it gets better as you get older. I'm a good bit older than you, so once you start getting older, it's like, whatever, bro. Like we won it. We didn't do anything. We did as much as every fan sitting in the stands. But man, I mean, Aaron, you laid the foundation of what they're at, and that sounds corny, but whatever. It's truth. Like 2012, when you were 3 yards short. Like, yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable that people saw that growing up in Georgia football, and they saw how good the red and black was, and that led to people building it up even more and getting Kirby. And we all have a small part in it that we get to take some pride in and say we helped make it better than it was. And I think you were a big part of that. And it doesn't matter. Like I'm so happy for fans that get to celebrate. Like last year after experiencing that, never having experienced it. Like this year for Tennessee, like I was so happy for Tennessee fans because I knew what it was like to be close and irrelevant and come back and then finally win it. So I think it makes you definitely more grateful. But the older you get, you realize, especially now, I've been in this daggone business for, 13, 14, 15 years and had so many of those moments when you knew we were good enough and you came close and you didn't get it done. Like that's what I said about the Peach Bowl. The Peach Bowl to me felt like beating Alabama, but actually losing on the scoreboard to them several times, which is what happened. But it was reversed. We took care of it and got the score. So I think you take a lot of pride, but you don't get as much pride because you don't get that fat bling. That'd have been sick to have one of those rings.
Oh, it'd be so nice. So nice.
I know. David Pollack, Aaron Murray, just a couple of Georgia legends chopping up with LSU degenerate. Thank you so much, David. You have a great day, man.
So where did Aaron go?
Yep. Wait, did Aaron never make it back from lunch?
Doesn't look like it.
I ran to the grocery store. I went Fat Boy. I got a chicken salad croissant. That thing. Ooh, boy. If I could eat that every day, I would. I'm trying not to. We are in carnival season. Hey, well, it looks like Aaron Murray got kidnapped. So we'll end the show here today. Actually, you know what? We got a $2 super chat from Brandon Pratt. He says, why do Bama fans think teams should fear Bama? Look, and a bunch of crime emojis. I get what you're saying, Brandon, in that it appears that Bama is slipping. But I mean, you're being a bit intellectually dishonest here, right? Like why Bama still commands fear. They have been the kings of college football for 15 years. Georgia may have passed them up, but they're still number 2, right? Like everybody else is still playing catch up to Bama, who's now playing catch up to Georgia. So maybe I've just suffered at their hands too much, but until Nick Saban leaves, I think it'll always be valid to have some modicum of fear for Alabama. Like Alabama will be favored in every single game that they play next year. Maybe I'll be interested to see where LSU, maybe it depends by the time November runs around how LSU is playing. Hey, look, you know that we love you here on Snaps. Y'all are the best, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We see new faces in here every single day, and it really warms my heart. I get so much joy from and I'm not even exaggerating. I get so much joy from doing the show, and it's because I get to hang out with all of y'all every day. And this guy, Aaron Murray, didn't get kidnapped. He's back. What would you just get like a little Peloton in there, Aaron? What's up? No way your mic is working. Yep. Oh, God. Okay. FanDuel.com. Oh, there we go. Yeah, he's back. What's up, dude?
Hey, just try taking a little lunch real quick. Try taking a little lunch. I apologize.
Yeah. Well, you ruined the show, Aaron. I mean, I hope you're happy. The
shit
list was awesome. Pollack was awesome, on our group, and now you ruined the show.
I texted on our group at 2:39. I said, "What time are we back?" And I got no response.
Look, you know what? We can save it for AMP. We'll save it for AMP, and I can tell you
Did
why.
Aaron pass the buck? Coming up next on Snaps.
A classic QB1, dude. Hey, why don't you guys fucking block?
It's never our fault. It is never the quarterback's fault.
Catch the ball. Not my fault. Catch the ball. It was a good throw. I know it put you in an awful position. It was underthrown by 15 yards, but catch the ball. It hit you in the hands.
Yeah, seriously.
No,
catch it, block.
That is, I mean, okay, to be fair, I have a quarterback father, and that was the rule in my house. Like, even if it grazed your hands, if it hit your hands, you got to catch it. Otherwise you blew it. Now my house, now that I have a family, my rule is if the CQ exchange is fumbled, it is always on the quarterback. Quarterback's head is elsewhere. The hands weren't where they needed to be. It's the quarterback's fault. Even on a shotgun snap, on a shotgun snap that fails over the head. Wait, you see a middle finger directly in the duty hole? That's where you'd put your knuck?
Right there.
It's a little far back, isn't it? I feel like I'm used to guys getting a little bit more up.
I'm trying to get away from the center. No, I'm not trying to have the jiggling things, especially when we're in shorts and you guys want to go commando, just play tricks on us.
I've done that before. Just Just
You get
rest
under
your
center, like,
stack on
really,
the
Ben?
quarterback's knuckles.
The amount of times that's happened to me in my career on a Thursday practice where Ben or David are like, I'm going to mess with Aaron today. You get under center, like, wow, really? Really?
Now, the mistake
We're about to do
that I
today?
made is I did that and then proceeded to flatulate, to fart on my quarterback's hand, not quite realizing that revenge was only a quick knuckle slap away, right? Because there's no support and you're swinging free, quarterback gets out of there. He pops that hand up pretty aggressively, and that does not feel great. Also, actually, no, you know what the worst thing is that a quarterback can do to you is when y'all pull your hands out, which causes a center to literally punch himself in the nuts. It's very funny because like you can manipulate an adult human being into punching himself in the nuts, but I used to hate that when the quarterback would just completely pull the hands out and you just end up hitting yourself with your own wrist in your nuts. Hey, this is what you get here on Snaps every single day.
Yeah.
This is why you should rate or review it wherever you listen to pods. This is where you need to sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook app, and if you do, use the promo code SNAPS. And
how good was Pollack, by the way? How good was Pollack?
Yeah, he was awesome. He was awesome. I want to go to that golf tournament. So I'm like, I know sometimes those invites are just thrown out as like cordial and being polite things, but I'm taking that as a concrete invite to the golf tourney. So there you go. When is it?
May 8th.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah,
right after my favorite holiday, May 4th.
Maybe we'll do Snaps live from the Georgia Club in Athens, Georgia.
Oh, that'd be fun. Hell yeah. I can go see, still, my wife's family still lives up in Cumming. So that's not too far. This is boring. Let's go. Y'all have a great day. We love you. Please rate, review the show, like and subscribe to YouTube, and we'll see you. Wait, shoot. This kind of sucks. Is it all the way to Tuesday?
Correct.
Tuesday.
Damn. No Saturday show, Martin Luther King Day on Monday. Okay, boys, enjoy an extended weekend. Huge thank you to Ryan Brumley, Paul Farrington, Pat Gunner, Danny Cardenas, Aaron Murray, and all of y'all in the chat. We love you. We'll see you there on Tuesday for more college football here on Snaps.